We do it through a couple of different measures. I would love to see us to begin receiving sales data from our farmers. It's not something throughout the 12 years we've ever requested, so I think there's a little bit of a pushback from the farmers to provide us with that information. But we are working with them to try to get that data because it's so important about the big business the Green City Market is for the city of Chicago. However, at each market day we do have volunteers that on the hour perform head counts and click people as they come in, and we know that within the last 2 years our annual attendance at Green City Market has tripled. And just in 2008 we saw about 42,000 people come through our market each year, and last year we ended with over 125,000. And just through from the indoor market that occurred January through April, and now the few weeks that we've been outdoors, we've already seen 70,000 people attend Green City Market this season. So we're getting the message loud and clear that Chicago is there to support us. And on a typical Saturday now we're seeing 7,000 to 8,000 people come through the market. It's an amazing experience. Although we don't require sales data from our farmers, it's very easy though at the end of the day to walk through the market, visit the farmers, see how their day went, and when you see that you have 60 empty stands with no produce, and some of those farmers that have been sold out since 11 o'clock, we know that we're having a very successful marketplace here, and we're pleased to be able to provide that to the farmers and offer that to them. It's very difficult to become part of Green City Market. We have very high standards, and it's important for us to maintain that integrity here and to be able to provide a sound business marketplace for these farmers is something I think that's fulfilling to everybody that's associated with this organization.
Fresh Farm Markets has a very comprehensive way of collecting data on the market, not just the market sales, but we track the customer counts at market, we track the weather, we track products that are brought to market, farmers that don't come, the size of the market, customers, the programs at market. At each market we donate food to a nonprofit that gleans the food and use it in either training programs or cooking programs for the homeless. So we're tracking all that data all the time, and we look at it on an annual basis. We have an annual farmers meeting, usually in January, that we share the information with the farmers. We'll share all the summary information on how the market sales were, what the customer counts were, what kind of program activity we had for the year. We also share our annual budget with the farmers to show them how much of their farmer fees, what they were used for, and what other monies we raised for the organization and how we use those funds. So we share that with the farmers because we want them to understand that we're there to serve them, but we also have an organization to run as well. We look at the market data as a whole as we're planning the new markets then. Could a market that looks like it's got a very robust customer base at the end of the season be the next site for a winter market so that it's a year-round market that we're planning? Should we expand the market season? Should we add growers to the market? Perhaps we're missing some product in the market that we thought we had everything covered with. So we share that with our staff. We use it, we send it to the board, of course, on a quarterly basis, so we're reviewing it, but we share it with the staff on a monthly basis, so we're tracking all the time what the success of the market are, how can we tweak it, how can we make it better. And then at the end of the year we do summaries of each of the markets, and when we start doing our community work in the beginning of the year, sort of the February, March time period, when we're going to those entities that will have to then vote on having the market back in their neighborhood, we share with them the summary data on the market as well. What we did as far as community partners, how many chef demos we had, what kind of overall sales did we have for that market, and how many customers actually came to market. So we compare year to year so that community can see how they're actually benefiting from the market and the farmers are benefiting from being there. So it's one of these things where we would never reveal an individual farmer sales, but we would give them summary information so that they can see the success of our program and how we're trying to build for the future.
We can look at the farmers that are part of our system. One of the other things that these two farmers, the Planks and Moy and Jim Crawford, said to us is what's really important is that you go to the farms and you certify and you document that these people are actually producer only. So, and one of that's a side, that's an important function of the farm visits, but another important function is to see how the farms are doing. We know how they've thrived, we know how they've used their money, because we can see the new greenhouses, we can see the new tractors, we can see the new pickups, we can see the new hoop houses, we can see investment in animals. We can see how they have found a new way to get their animals processed, investment in value-added products. So that's farmer satisfaction is tremendous. And then we can just see that our constituency, which was in 1997 when we started was tiny, is now over 300,000 people that came to our markets last year. So we can see that growing, and we can see now that people identify the market as a really important, I think it's the anchor. The way markets are an anchor for the local food community.
We believe really strongly in evaluating, and we try to incorporate it into every aspect of our work. So program to program, there'll be different amounts of evaluation done and different tactics used. One thing that we've developed are a series of tools, Seed, Need, and Feed, to measure markets' impacts on community. Seed addresses the economic impact, Need addresses the social impact, and Feed addresses the health impact, people's relationships with food. Within the market, we do a lot of other evaluation. We'll have taste and choose events where we'll taste different varieties of tomatoes or greens with shoppers. We can do bean surveys or dot surveys to get information from shoppers that we then pass along to vendors, things that they might want to take into consideration when they're planning crops for the next season. So we have all of this information that we're collecting. It might be through recaps after senior bingo games or after Meet Me at the Market visits for school groups, dot surveys, bean surveys for taste and choose events. We don't want to just hang on to it. We want to share it. We want to share it with our community, certainly our vendor community, information that could be useful in helping them grow their businesses, also with the larger community. We send out a weekly e-newsletter that will direct people to our website for more extensive information on the findings that we have. We also do an annual report, a report to the community that has the numbers and information on all the programs that we've been running.
Well, I think the markets succeed on a lot of different levels, and but if you really want to be able to assess success, I think you need data. So we're looking at total sales that come through the market. We're looking at total customer counts, which we're also keeping track of every market day. We're looking at the average sale per customer. We're also looking at the average vendor sale, which is something that we can see that go up or down. We can use it to market our markets to farmers. We can actually tell them what they can expect in sales if they're interested in one of our markets. We survey shoppers at the market. We do dot surveys every season, interactive surveys. We also survey our vendors, and I can't recommend that enough. We always have a year-end survey, and we incentivize that response. We actually give them something for sending it back to us. And we're not only asking them what we're doing and how we're doing it and what we can do better, but we're asking them to tell us about other markets and what works at other markets that we could learn from. So I would recommend surveying vendors and shoppers, looking very, very closely at the overall sales and people that are coming through your market, and then having a good survey tool. I think it's just really important. Well, since we've been collecting data from our farmers and also shopper counts, we're able to assess year-to-year performance, but we're also able to take that information back out into the community and share the good news with policymakers at the city level and the county level and also at the state level. The city wants to know that our farmers markets are working hand in hand with business districts, and so we actually ask our shoppers, will you be spending money at adjacent business district today? And we actually get a good multiplier number that the city likes to see. At the county level, they're working on land use issues and programs that support agriculture, so they need to see that farming is economically viable in King County, in the immediate region around the market. At the state level in Washington, and I go down to our state capital, Olympia, regularly, we need to be telling state electeds and policymakers that small-scale agriculture is working in the state. A lot of our farmers are driving a distance. Most of them are driving within 60 miles, and I'm very proud of that, but some are driving from the eastern part of our state, which is a very, very different place politically and geographically. And folks in Olympia need to know that those farmers are making their living here in Seattle by direct marketing. I can't tell you how important it is to have numbers, sales, shopper counts, acres in cultivation. You need to tell folks that these farmers are making their primary income as farmers by direct marketing. Otherwise, I think a lot of electeds and policymakers sort of assume that these are all hobbyists, part-time farmers, and that this isn't serious business. And believe me, direct marketing and farmers markets are very serious business.